Said, well, you know what, I have to think about this. I don't know if I want to sell my house to no Eric. And just tell your customer, says, no, you cannot do it. Okay, understand right now, if you're going to insist on doing this, I can no longer represent you. Okay, I have to cancel out our agreement right now. And the customer still insists, well, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to sell my house to nobody with this name. Okay, give the contract to your homeowner, because first rule of real estate: present all offers. You presented the offer. Now tell the customer that you are no longer going to represent them. You're no longer going to work in their best interest, and you're terminating the relationship right now. Go outside and take your signs down. Go right back to the office. Take your property out of the MLS, and then call your broker. Okay? You don't communicate with anybody else. You don't say nothing to anybody else. You don't call the other cooperating agent and you tell them anything. You call the broker and you explain to the broker everything that's happened. Okay? And let the broker take it from there. All communications from this point on must be from broker to broker. It can't be from agent to agent, agent to broker, broker to agent. It must be from broker to broker. You shut up. You say nothing else. You don't talk to nobody. Period. You don't answer no questions unless it's directed to your broker. Okay, that's absolutely critical. Now, and again, this has to be done on the spot. And then you document everything you've done. You document what you told your homeowner, what the homeowner told you, and get it in your file. Give a copy to your broker. Okay, and then you just cut off communications with everybody else. Everything else, anybody wants to ask a question, anybody calls, say, hey, what happened? You have to talk to the broker. Can't talk to you. Period. Right? Does everybody understand that? That's critical. Your actions must be immediate. Inaction, doing nothing, doing absolutely nothing at all, is just as bad as doing something and helping that person discriminate. Okay? What I need you to understand is there's other forms of discrimination out there that you need to be aware of other than racial. There are other issues out here that you need to be concerned of other than this. What really baffles me right now is this: color discrimination. Never been counted before. All of a sudden we're counting color discrimination. It means the federal government is looking at something now. So they're making a determination. So you might want to start looking at things and paying attention to things, because there might be a change coming down in how we define certain things. Okay? Color discrimination has never, ever been counted before. Everything's always been tagged up here to this race. And that might be the reason why national origin has went up 7% since 2005. Sexual discrimination against women, is becoming a big issue. Now, one of the things when we talk about this that we see is you need to pay attention to the loan side of the house. Okay? Sometimes when you take a woman, especially a single woman or a single parent, to a lender, it's like a woman going to an automotive repair shop. They see you coming. In order to protect them, I would highly recommend that you take charge of the situation. Take charge of the loan. One of the things I do is I have to approve all truth in lending statements. Anytime I get a truth in lending statement on the customer, I review it before I allow my customer to sign it. I make sure that I'm aware of all the fees that are charged from my market area. And if I see excessive fees, or I start seeing things like prepayment penalties, a higher interest rate, then I will go back to the loan officer and say, you have one more opportunity here to give us a decent offer. If not, then we're going to go somewhere else. Okay? Now, if the loan officer says, well, she got all this, she got all that, and then said, you're fired. Okay, we're through with you. We're going to go somewhere else. Now, a lot of people who are credit savvy say, well, I don't want all these different lenders pulling my credit. I don't, you know, all these inquiries on my credit report is going to make my FICO scores go down. No, it's not. Okay? Your customer can shop 1,000 different lenders to get the best deal, as long as they do it in 14 days. Multiple inquiries of the same type, all done in 14 days, are considered one inquiry on your credit report. Okay? So tell your customer to shop. Take your customer out there to shop. Find the best deal. Okay? Don't just get stuck with one lender. Unless you know the lender and you've got a long-term relationship with that lender, don't get stuck with one lender. Now, understand that a new edict is getting ready to hit the streets here very shortly, where HUD is going to say that the closing HUD-1 and the truth in lending statement have to match dollar for dollar, or the deal won't close. Okay? That's in Congress right now. They should be signing off on it any day, and when it hits the street, it's going to be effective immediately. Okay? So you're taking your customer to a loan officer. Tell that loan officer, I want a copy of the truth in lending statement. If they say, well, we don't give realtors a copy of the truth in lending statement, fire them. We'll find another lender. Okay? You're going to have a copy of the truth in lending statement in order for you to review the closing HUD-1, because if the numbers are off by a dollar, your deal is not going to close. That's going to hit the streets any day now. I just got a bulletin on it from the National Association of Realtors. Just sent out bulletins on it 2 days ago. Office of Management and Budget have approved it. It's in the Congress right now for them to sign off on it. It should hit the streets here within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So tell your lenders, I want a copy of the truth in lending statement. If they don't want to give it to you, fire them, go find somebody who will. You're going to have it. You're going to have it in your files in order to close the deal. Okay? And if you don't know how to read a HUD-1, learn how to read a HUD-1. No, it baffles me that there are so many real estate agents out there that just don't know how to read a HUD-1. They get the darn thing, and the first thing they do is look at the bottom of the front page. Oh yeah, here's what my seller's going to make. Here's what my buyer's got to bring in. And they flip it over to the second page. Oh yeah, my commission's there. And then they fold it up and put it in the folder. If you want to know that something's wrong with the deal, it's going to be recorded on the HUD-1. But understand, your job is to protect your customer. That's what fair housing is all about. Protecting your customer. So learn how to read a HUD-1. Know what the fees are for your market area. Okay? And don't let your customers be charged excessive fees. If you're on the selling side, in particular, you don't want your seller getting caught with some unnecessary charges that was never reported to them. If it's not in the contract, you go back to the title company and say, no, we're not going to pay this. That's under the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, which falls under the Fair Housing umbrella. Protect your customer. Don't let them be charged excessive fees. Okay? You must work in the best interest of your customer. You must promote the best interest of your customer. Okay? That means you're going to protect them. Now, the other thing, I'm going to spend a little time talking about these two, but I want to talk about this as far as testers are concerned. Now, I've been teaching fair housing classes for 10 years, and I get calls from brokers and agents all over this valley. And I can tell you right now, I've received enough phone calls to convince me beyond a reasonable shadow of a doubt that federal testers are here right now. Okay? Federal testers are here. So what you need to be aware of is out-of-state buyers. If you get an out-of-state buyer, make sure your wits are fine-tuned. What you want to be careful of is the type of questions they're going to ask you. Okay? Do not allow anyone to come and say, well, you know what, I want you to find me a house in a community where there's nothing but black people. The answer is no, absolutely not. If you have somebody comes to you, and this happened to me about 7 years ago. I had a guy come here from California, said he was going to be taking over as a pastor of a church up in the Arrowhead Ranch. And he wanted to find a house near that church. Okay, so he'd have a short commute. My first response to him, no, I will not find you a house based on the location of the religious facility. That's a violation of federal law. You have to tell them up front. Tell the customer up front, you won't do it. I said, what I told this guy was, here's a map of the area. You draw me a little box on that map